In today's video, I'm going to be talking about 3 common mistakes that might be stunting your hair growth. These are things that you might know but are not usually discussed, and you might not even notice that they are damaging your hair. So if you're having issues with growing your hair, or you just want preventative measures so that you know that you can grow your hair nice, long, thick, healthy, and strong, then this is the video for you. If you don't know me, my name is Angelica. I post videos twice a week, every single week, all about growing long, healthy, natural hair. So if that seems interesting to you, consider subscribing. The subscription button is right down there, as well as the bell icon. Make sure you hit the bell so you get notifications every single time I post. Let's get into it. So the first one seems very simple, but this is sleeping without a bonnet or a scarf. Now it might seem like it's not doing that much damage, and usually it doesn't do that much damage quickly. It usually does damage over time, so it might take even like 6 months for you to notice that something is actually going wrong. So you might just be thinking, it's fine, I sleep with my hair out, nothing happens, everything's fine. But then eventually it's actually going to cause damage, because I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but have you ever seen your hair caught inside a fabric? Like it's literally like it was sewn into the fabric, and you like there's tension when you try and pull it out. That's what happens as you're sleeping on a cotton pillowcase or other types of pillowcases aside from silk or satin. You might find that your hair is kind of getting caught in the fabric, and also it kind of dries out the hair, so it's going to be sucking out the moisture. The drier your hair is, the more easy it's going to be to start getting caught in fabric. The easier it is to break, even when you're just combing it or getting ready in the morning. Sleeping on a satin pillowcase would definitely help you, and it is the best option if you don't want to sleep with a bonnet. I have 2 bonnets here, so I'm just going to show you the example with the bonnet because the pillow is on my bed right now. But anyway, if this is your satin pillowcase, it's huge. It actually looks like a satin pillowcase. And this is your bonnet. When you sleep, it's just going to move across each other. So it's going to be very slippery, but not to the point where you can slide off your pillow. But it's the most effective way to not cause any damage while your hair is sleeping. That's when your hair should be in its best state to just rest and do nothing. You're not touching it, you're not moving it around. By the way, this is the length of my hair on the screen. As you can see, it is flourishing. It is doing really, really well. It's growing very fast. You can see that, so in the same category as sleeping on with a silk scarf or silk bonnet, there is a wrong way and a right way to do it, okay? So you might actually be sleeping on a satin pillowcase with a satin bonnet, but you might be using, let me not say using the wrong, you might be using the wrong bonnet, or you might be wearing your scarf wrong. The bonnets I suggest are like this one. Nice and soft. Of course, you can get a bigger one. This one is tiny. I can barely fit my hair into it when it's out, but I'm working on getting another one. I tried to, but it was the wrong one, which I'll be showing next. So you want to get one that's soft like this with a band like this that can just like sit over your edges, or to the point where even if it hovers on your edges, it's still not going to cause any damage. It is very soft, it is very loose, it's just elasticated fabric. It doesn't have elastic in it. It is not too tight, because even a tight bonnet might not cause you to break your hair. The rest of your hair will be protected, but it might damage your edges because it's putting too much tension on your edges, and if it turns while you're sleeping, it's going to be tugging at your edges. An example of that is this one that I bought. That I like this part, but I don't like this part, because this part looks kind of like the one I was showing you, but it actually has elastic in it. So I might take the elastic out and just sew it back, and then that would probably be good, because this fabric is also stretchy. It's just this band inside makes it too tight on my hairline, and it gives me a headache, and it's also just not good for my edges. So this kind of a bonnet, you might be saying, I've been sleeping with a bonnet every day, and how come my edges are still getting damaged? It might actually be the bonnet. So the next thing is your satin scarf. Now, if you use a silk or satin scarf, it's the same thing with the bonnet. You wear it properly, amazing for your hair. If you tie it too tight, it's going to cause tension. Even if you tie it tight like here, wherever the tightness is, it can cause some severe damage and tension on your hair, on your hairline, which is why I actually prefer satin bonnets, because there's a lower chance of them falling off my head, so I don't need it to be too super tight. So if you think your satin bonnets and satin scarves are working amazing, just take a look again and see if it's actually doing what it's supposed to be doing. Okay, the second one is doing too many protective styles that actually aren't protective styles. Now, we know the most common protective styles are twists, braids, maybe loose buns. I would say those are like the most common protective styles, and cornrows. However, some of us do protective styles that are not actually protective, which is not a problem. You can absolutely do your hair just for the sake of the style, just because you want your hair to look pretty. It doesn't matter if it's helping your hair or not. Like, let's say using tons of bleach and going like icy blonde. That's perfectly fine. Just don't expect no side effects, okay? It's gonna cause some damage. So what I'm talking about is not necessarily being aware that what you're doing is not a protective style. So here are some examples of protective styles that are not actually protective styles. You might say, well, my hair is in braids, and you said braids are a protective style. Micro braids are not a protective style, okay? That's for fashion. You want to look cute, you want tiny braids, you want to look like Brandy and Moesha. That is not protecting your hair. It is severely damaging your hair. It is not a protective style. So don't think, oh, my hair is in a protective style and then I'm even going to wash it out or leave my hair out for a week and then I'll go back into it because I'm not combing my hair. There's no manipulation, so my hair is not going to be damaged. The same thing goes for Senegalese twists or Maasai twists. Those are for fashion. There is nothing protective about that. I'm sure you've seen a bunch of braids on the road before or in someone's house where a braid just literally drops off your head with the hair in it, okay? That is not a protective style. For example, even low buns, if it's a nice low, loose bun with your ends tucked up, that is a nice protective style, provided you don't do the bun in the same place and you use an ouchless hair tie. However, if you do tight buns every single day, in the same place, wherever the tie goes, there's probably breakage happening there. The tightest points of where your hair is pulling, there might be breakage there on your hairline. So just make sure you know what protective styles are and then do them if that's what you're looking to do. The second part of this, by the way, every point is like a two-part. The second part of this is similar to what I was talking about with the bonnets. And this is, you're doing the correct protective styles, but you're doing them wrong. For example, doing box braids. Box braids are a protective style, provided you use the correct amount of hair. Like, the amount of hair that you get should be almost the amount of braiding hair that you're adding. If it's too little, it's going to be too heavy, like what I was saying about the jumbo braids. You can do nice big cornrows, but if they are extremely tight and pulling at your edges, that is going to cause damage and breakage. Also, you could do something like twists, large twists, not jumbo twists, just large loose twists, whether it's with your hair or not. But if you're doing them too tightly and adding like extra nylon and cotton and stuff like that to your hair, even if it's a protective style, you're still damaging your hair. The last thing is you discovered, okay, maybe my micro braids aren't protective styles. I'm going to do an actual protective style. I'm going to do braids that are not too tight. I'm going to do whatever protective style you choose, right? You do everything right, and then you go wrong during the takedown. Okay, the takedown process is almost as important as the braiding process because the takedown is usually at a point where you're tired. You don't want to deal with the hair anymore. You're not excited because it's not a new style. All you're thinking of is, oh my God, once I take these down, I'm going to have to detangle. Then I'm going to have to wash my hair. And oh my God, it's going to take too long. I understand. It's very frustrating. But if it's so frustrating that you can't take care while you are doing your braids or whatever protective style you have, perhaps you shouldn't do it in the first place. You should not make your hair soaking wet. You should not do it on completely dry hair. Try not to braid with like thread or anything in between your hair if you're not using additional like Kaneka on hair. But if you do, either way, you have to make sure that you take it down gently. I actually have multiple videos on how I take down cornrows and braids and everything. So I will link one or a playlist at the end of this video so you can check out how I take down hair from a protective style, because that's where a lot of breakage and damage can happen. And you will think your protective style didn't work. Meanwhile, it did protect your hair amazingly. Your hair even grew, but then you damaged so much during the takedown process that it seemed like it was a horrible style. And you might be out here saying, well, cornrows are not a protective style because they broke my hair and my hair got severely damaged. Meanwhile, it's possible it could have been you during the takedown process. So just look into that. Okay, so this one seems like a no-brainer, but clearly it is not, because I see this all the time, and even in my comments I get questions about this all the time. And this is using products that are popular and that work amazing for other people, but they don't work that great on you. However, you still use them because people told you that it works amazing. If something doesn't work for your hair, it doesn't work for your hair. I don't care if I say this is amazing, it has made my hair grow. It is, for example, let's talk about rosemary oil, rosemary water. My hair loves rosemary. I did not know. I've had rosemary in my yard for ages, and I know it's good for hair, but I've never actually tried to use it until recently in the past couple months, and my hair loves it. My hair is flourishing. I can see that my hair is growing faster. However, just because it is heavily researched and doctors say that this works better or the same as dermatologist prescribed medication, this is one of the best things. It works for so many different kinds of people, different races. It is still possible that if you put it in your hair might not like it, okay? I also love rice water. It is very popular on YouTube. My hair loves it. I don't use it every day. I just use it actually once or twice a month. Some people use it once a week and it works amazing for them. That does not work for me, so I do not do that. If your hair absolutely hates rice water, just ignore it. You can, of course, try different ways to make it work for you. And if you try different ways and it still does not work, stop using it. Olaplex is so popular. It works for everyone. Sure, it might work for most people, but if it doesn't work for you, unfortunately, you just have to ignore it. All these YouTube videos, even the ones that I post, are mostly suggestions. So that's why sometimes I might be talking about 5 different products and you might be thinking, oh my God, there's no way you can use all those products at the same time. There is no way I can use those products at the same time, but it is my job for me to try out things and see if I like them. And if I see that they work, I share them with you so that maybe you can incorporate them into your routine. I do not expect you, and you actually should not be using like rosemary oil, moringa oil, coffee oil, amla oil, rice water, rosemary oil, like all at the same time. No, give yourself a little space. Test them out. If your hair absolutely loves something, stick to it. If it doesn't, then you can ditch it and move on to the next thing. Also, the other way around, just because things are popular that don't work for other people doesn't mean it's not going to work for you. I'll give a perfect example. I think I actually got a question on this recently. Someone was asking if they should proceed using Cantu because they've heard that it's a bad product, and I also personally don't like it because all the products I have tried do not work on my hair. My response was, if it works well on your hair, continue using it. If your hair likes it, then use it. I have never found a single product that works really well on my hair. However, if I found a new one, I think they have reformulated their products. And if I found one of their products that worked well, I would use that product. There's no problem. So don't also get turned off unless they're literally saying like, it is a terrible product. It is mostly alcohol. It has everything that can damage your hair. Then you can think of not using it. And now, in these short videos, I always have a bonus. So you might guess what this bonus is because I've given it multiple times, but I think it is necessary to give this bonus in almost every video. Patience. Patience is one of the best hair growth tips you can have. If you're doing everything right, but it feels like no matter what you do, your hair is just not growing, I would say try some patience, okay? I also want to wake up tomorrow with hair all the way down my back, but it's just not possible. All you can do is everything you can do, and from then on, all you have to do is be patient. Now, I will say you can only take your patience so far. If you're pretty sure you're doing everything right, you're using the right products, you are eating well, you are moving your body, you're drinking a lot of water, and it feels like your hair is just at the same length, look at your ends. Are you doing your trims? If you're doing your trims, you're literally doing everything and you know your hair is maybe even in great health, but it's just not growing any longer. This might be the time for you to go and speak to a medical professional because not everything about hair, just because it's growing outside of your head, it doesn't mean that things that are going on internally are not affecting it. So then you can go and speak to a dermatologist. You can go and speak to a physician, whoever your medical professional is. You can speak to them and maybe they can help you. It might be something internal that is stunting your hair growth. But if you just think your hair might be growing slower than you think it should, you might just need to be patient, okay? Your hair might just grow slower than other people. My best friend's hair grows extremely fast, and she will tell you herself that she does not take the best care of her hair, okay? She is one of the lucky people who genetics works very well in her case, okay? She dyes her hair, she cuts it, it grows back like We could both cut our hair at the same time, or in fact, she could cut her hair and I could leave my hair. And by next year, her hair would probably be longer than mine. She has a looser curl pattern. She has a completely different texture of hair. Her hair grows faster, and genetics are in her favor. That has nothing to do with me. I see those comments all the time. Genetics, it's probably just genetics. That's why that girl has long hair. Genetics have nothing to do with you, okay? You have to do everything that you think you can do and then be patient. Also, remember that not being patient can cause stress, and stress can make your hair fall out, stunt your hair growth. So look into all those aspects. Hit my face right there to subscribe if you didn't in the beginning. Watch the 2 videos on the side of the screen right here if you'd like to see any of my other videos. Let me know your favorite tip in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!